In today's video, we're going to be going over AI for everyone, and this is our part 3 video inside of the series. And specifically in today's video, we're going to talk about AI terminology. So let's get started with our video. So let's start off with the introduction for this video. So do you know what these following terms mean? So the key terms in AI are such like machine learning, data science, neural networks, and deep learning. So these are the key words and key terms that we're going to be covering throughout this video and the words that we're going to be learning. So the first example that we're going to be taking for this video so that we can understand all of these different key concepts is an example of home prices. So let's just say that you have a housing data set like the one above in this picture you can see, and there's the size of the house in square feet, there's the number of bedrooms the houses have, there's the number of bathrooms the house has, if it's newly renovated or not, and also the price. So this is an example of home prices that we're going to be using throughout this video to learn the different types of keywords. So let's start off with machine learning and what that means and how it relates to home prices. So let's just say that you wanted to build a mobile app based on this data that you already have so that you can help people to price houses and actually find them. So this is an example of machine learning because basically we have inputs of A and also outputs of B. So if you want to learn more about machine learning, our part 2 video and also our part 3 video of this series talked more about that, so feel free to watch those videos out. But basically what machine learning is that there's an input which is A, and then there's also output which is B. So in this case, if we look at the picture, we can see that the size of the house is part of an input A, the number of bedrooms is also part of the input A, the number of bathrooms, and also if it's newly renovated or not. So those all fall into the category of the input, and then the output is obviously the price. So basically, if you think about this, if you have a mobile app, then you can filter the search by the size of the house, the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, if it's newly renovated, and then once you put all those things inside of the filter search, then it's going to respond with the price of the house. And in order to do this, and in order to make this application work, you're going to need to provide the application with a lot of data, and you can do that, and there's many different ways as we explained in our previous video. So this is how this example of home prices relate to machine learning, and basically in conclusion, machine learning means mapping inputs A to outputs B. So now using the same example of home prices, let's talk about what data science is. So in contrast, instead of maybe having a mobile app to get the price from the filtering search of all of those inputs, in contrast, maybe you wanted to have something else, which is basically a team that analyzes all the data you have in order to gain insights of which house is the best to buy, which house has the most value per square feet, and information like that. So for example, if you have two houses that are a similar size, that means that they have a similar square footage, and if one house has 3 bedrooms, then it costs a lot more than a house that has 2 bedrooms, even if the square foot is the exact same. So that means basically if you have a square feet of 1800 and maybe one house has only 3 bedrooms and another one might have 4 or maybe has 2. So this is what data scientists usually do. They look at all the data and then they tell you what is the best range in price. So furthermore, these would just be an example of data science projects because the output of the data science project is a set of insights that can help you to make the best decisions. And another example we can take from this table here is let's just look at the example of the 1500 square feet, which is the first one, and the one that has 1800 square feet, which is the second last one. So we can see that both of them have the same number of bedrooms, so which is the number of 3, and the same number of bathrooms, which is 2. And the only difference is for the size of the square feet of 1500 is newly renovated, while the one that's 1800 is not. So here you can see that the price of the 1800 is also $50,000 more, but they get the exact same thing, so they still get the 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, even if they took the 1500 square feet. So this is what a data scientist actually does. So they look through all the data and they choose whatever is the best options for you. So this is how this example of home prices relates to data science. So now we're going to talk about the difference between machine learning and data science. So basically machine learning, the definition is the field of study that gives computers the ability to learn without being programmed. And on the other hand, the data science is science of extracting knowledge and insights from data. So as we learned in our example before, maybe machine learning, you create an application that helps you to search for a certain thing, and in the other hand, the data science is it reads through all the data that you already have, and it extracts knowledge from there and tells you the best possible option. So if we look at the output now, so for machine learning, it's basically just a software that runs, that outputs B, and also based on the given inputs of A. And on the other hand, for data science, an output could be a presentation, it could just be speaking to them, any conclusions, a summarizing conclusion for business actions. And for next one, we have an example. So for machine learning, we used a mobile app to help people price houses. And for data science, we have insights to make business decisions like what type of house to build or whether to invest in the renovation or not. And finally, we also have the common use. So the difference is for machine learning, AI systems serving millions of users, and on data science, we're driving business insights. So this is the difference between machine learning and data science. So now we're going to talk about what deep learning is and what neural networks are. So just keep in mind that deep learning and neural networks are the exact same thing. They're just different keywords, but they do mean the exact same thing. So just before we go back and relate these two key terms back to the housing prices, I'm going to give a more general example so we can actually learn more about them, and it'll also be easier for us to understand. So the example that I'm going to use is the human brain. So this is also a diagram of how these look like, and this is a most general example of how the deep learning actually looks like, so we can refer to this image as we talk about the human brain. So think of your brain as you're doing like a math problem. So let's just say that you're doing a math problem, and if you had a simple math problem, like you're just doing the 2 plus 2 or 1 plus 1, then your brain can directly go from the input layer, as you can see in this image, directly to the output. So as soon as you give the input, you're going to directly get the output. But however, if you had a harder math problem that needed multiple steps, then what your brain would do is it would start off in the input layer, which is the A variable. Then it's going to go to a different layer, which is called the hidden layer, because it first solves a little portion of it. Then it goes to another portion, which is the hidden layer. And then finally, it gives you the answer at the end. So you can think about the deep learning as multiple different steps that you take. And the example that we use is the human brain. So now let's connect this back to the housing prices. So let's just say that you wanted to predict housing prices again. So we're going to use the same diagram once again. So what you need to do is you have to take an input, so such as the house size, the number of bedrooms, the number of bathrooms, and whether it's renovated or not. And these would all be considered as the input layer. And then the output layer is still the price of the house, and the hidden layer can be many different things in this case. So furthermore, what a neural network does, or artificial neural network does, is that it takes an input A, and which is all the 6 things as we talked about in the previous slide for the housing price, and then it has the output B, which is the estimated price of the house. And we can refer that back to this diagram here. So that basically just quickly summarizes what deep learning is and also what neural networks are. So now we're going to talk about what AI tools are, and also they're also called as buzzwords. So basically what AI tools and buzzwords they are popular terms used in AI, such as these following here, which are machine learning, data science, deep learning, unsupervised learning, reinforced learning, and there's many more. So basically these words are known as buzzwords or AI tools. And here we can see that there's a picture that talks about AI in general. So the big red circle here is in general the AI, or otherwise known as artificial intelligence. And then a smaller circle inside of AI is called machine learning, which we talked about is mapping inputs A to outputs B. And then inside of machine learning, there's even smaller, which is deep learning. And inside of deep learning, there's the generative AI. And then finally here we can see that there's data science too, but data science is a different branch, but it also contains a bit of AI and also machine learning. But it also contains some other things that are not inside of this AI part here. So this, in summary, just summarizes what buzzwords and AI tools are. And as a conclusion for this video, we summarize the key takeaways for different types of AI terminology. And in our next video, we're going to share about what it means for a company to be good at AI. So thank you so much for watching From Try to Be Useful, and we'll see you guys in our next AI video.